All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the wild world of alien worlds.
Alien worlds, huh? Definitely been making headlines lately, and not always for the right reason.
Exactly, and that's what we're digging into today. So for those not familiar, Alien Worlds is this metaverse crypto game, or at least it was billed that way, where you can mine for cryptocurrency, build stuff, the whole deal. But recently,
hmm
let's just say some serious concerns have been raised.
Yeah, you could say that again. We're talking accusations of rampant bot activity,
Right.
possible misuse of funds, the whole nine yards.
And that's what makes this such a fascinating case study, right? It's like a microcosm of both the incredible potential A&D, the very real risks we see with these emerging online spaces, the metaverse in particular.
Couldn't agree more. It's like holding up a mirror to this whole experiment we're all part of. But before we go full-blown conspiracy theory, let's lay down the facts as we understand them, shall we?
Absolutely. Got to start somewhere. And one of the biggest red flags waving in our faces right now has got to be these bots. And we're not talking about just a few bad actors here. We're talking potentially tens of thousands, maybe even more.
Yeah, and it's not just the numbers, right? It's what those bots are doing that's got everyone up in arms.
Right. It's like trying to build a real business when somebody's in the background rigging the system.
Exactly. Imagine you're putting in the time, you're playing by the rules, trying to earn some crypto, but the entire in-game economy is getting warped around these bots that are just gobbling up resources faster than anyone can keep track. It creates this super uneven playing field, disincentivizes actual players. It's a whole mess.
Total mess. And then you start to wonder, how is this even possible? Are the developers aware of this? Did they not see this coming? So many questions.
Right. And that leads us down the rabbit hole of intentional loopholes versus unintentional vulnerabilities in the code, a debate that's absolutely raging in the alien worlds community right now, by the way.
And it's like, even if we take the most generous stance and say, okay, maybe it wasn't intentional, well, that begs the question, what are they doing to fix it?
Which brings us to the next layer of this drama, the custodians.
Okay, so time for a quick explainer here, because not everyone's neck deep in DAO governance like we are.
Fair point. So in a nutshell, DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations, they're meant to be this new, more democratic way of running things online. Instead of a central authority calling all the shots, you have this distributed network of power, and the community gets a direct say. Think of it like a digital co-op, in a way.
Sounds amazing, right? True democracy in action.
Except in the case of alien worlds, well, there have been some rather serious accusations leveled at some of their custodians.
Yeah, and when I say serious, I mean, we're talking about allegations of straight up misuse of funds, valuable NFTs that were supposed to go to the community, just vanishing.
Right, and then you have the whole issue with manipulation of DAO votes, which, if true, that's like the antithesis of what DAOs are supposed to stand for. It's supposed to be about transparency and accountability, and this just throws the whole thing out the window.
It's wild. So we have this situation, right? Rampant bots running amok, potentially destabilizing the entire in-game economy. And then you have these accusations of, let's just say, less than ethical behavior from the very people who are supposed to be overseeing
It's
everything.
a bit of a tangled web we're dealing with, that's for sure.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So, the million-dollar question, can alien worlds recover from this?
Honestly, it's really tough to say at this point. There are a few different ways this could play out. On the one hand, if they don't address these problems, and fast, the whole thing could crumble. Players lose faith, the value of everything plummets, and that's that.
Right, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. People see it going down and they bail. But on the other hand,
You have the power of the community, and that's something you can never underestimate.
right, because there's still a lot of passion for this project out there. I mean, people want to believe in the promise of what Alien Worlds represents.
Exactly. And that's where the potential for a turnaround exists, you know? Imagine the community bands together, they demand real transparency, they hold the custodians accountable, and then on the development side, they step up, they implement stronger bot protection, they get serious about security. If that were to happen, alien worlds could not only survive this, but actually come out stronger. It could be a model for how to do things right in the metaverse.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, whether we're talking about virtual worlds or the real one,
Yeah.
it all comes back to trust, right?
Yeah.
People need to feel like the system is fair, that their voices are heard, that they're not just getting played.
100%.
So for anyone listening who's thinking about diving into the metaverse, take this as a cautionary tale, but also a reminder to do your research, ask tough questions. Who's running things? What safeguards are in place? Don't just assume everything is on the up and up.
And remember, just because something's in the digital world doesn't mean there aren't real-world consequences.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I think it's time to surface from this deep dive. Big thanks as always for lending your expertise.
Anytime. Always happy to geek out on this stuff.
And everyone listening, keep those questions coming, stay curious, and we'll catch you next time.